Hey, this is Tracey with the Tracey's Keeping It Real show, sponsored by AARP Minnesota. We have Tracey's Keeping It Real show, and it's sponsored in part by AARP Minnesota. And we are so lucky to have Pat Lund here. He's with Age Well at Home. And Pat is the executive director. He created and leads the Age Well at Home. He is committed to the organization's person-centered, relationally focused approach to assist older homeowners stay safer, healthier, and longer in the homes and communities they love. So Pat is here to make sure that all our loved ones have the opportunity to stay home, be safe. There's a lot of programming that they offer for our seniors, and we're going to talk to Pat and find out more about exactly what they offer. Well, hello, Pat, and welcome to Tracey's Keeping It Real. I'm so excited to have you on today to talk about all the wonderful work you're doing with your organization, Age Well at Home. I think about Age Well at Home, aging well at home, then I understand really more of what your organization is about. And it's really, the way I understand it, Pat, it's more about your needing to make sure that people are safe at home, that they are well taken care of at home, that they can move around their homes well at home. I remember I had my mother at my home, Pat, and I just recently lost her in June. But prior to that, we had the city, and they said we're in Dakota, and they were saying Dakota had the best county that really kind of looked out for people. So I'm excited about hearing more about your organization. But it was talking about how the county would come in, and they helped us to set up the railings, the things in the bathroom. I even had some of the handles as I stepped out into my garage that they put there for my mother to get in and out of the garage. And my first thought was, all this stuff is defacing my home. Mom doesn't need all this stuff. She really needed all of it. You know, she really needed it. You know, I know that one of the missions to Age Well at Home is to honor, support, and advocate for the stable and inequality the homeowners have, that you're trying to help to preserve them and be able to stay in their homes and have generational wealth of elders, rather, and really trying to help the elderly people be comfortable and feel secure. Tell me a little bit more, Pat, about your mission and kind of Age Well at Home and how that really ties into our readers and our viewers this afternoon.
Well, thanks for having me on. This is great. And what a great daughter you were to bring your mom into your home and take care of her. That's amazing.
It's an honor. I mean, if we have the opportunity to do that for our parents, I think that's the least we should be able to do.
Absolutely. They've earned it.
They have.
They have earned it. Yeah. So through stories like yours inspired us to start Age Well at Home. And we see in our communities are aging, you know, and people need more and more of these type of services like you did for your mom. So the grab bars and the railings. Sometimes it's difficult to get out of your house, so maybe you need a ramp, better lighting. So a lot of us get up at night and it can be dark. And so we help with smart lighting to kind of light the way from the bedroom to the bathroom to the kitchen. So those are the, I would say, simple things, but very important things to keep people safe and healthy inside their home.
Wow. And I know, Pat, you used to work for Habitat for Humanity.
Yeah.
And you were there for 20 years, and that's a lot of what they do, right?
Absolutely.
So you left there and you started Age Well at Home. So what's the difference? Where does the difference with Habitat and Age Well come in?
Yeah, so actually, I kind of helped start Habitat for Humanity, just thinking about and getting into home rehabs and helping people stay in their home. Habitat's known for building homes, rehabbing homes, getting people into home ownership, closing the racial gap in home ownership. As you know, the Twin Cities has some of the largest racial gaps in home ownership. And so we were creating home ownership opportunities, and I got Habitat to preserving home ownership. For single parents, people who are maybe struggling in other ways, financially, unemployment, and for older adults. So half those that we served are older homeowners, okay? And so I got Twin Cities Habitat to start a program which I named A Brush with Kindness. So that's kind of where things started. So we started here in the Twin Cities and partnered with churches and community organizations and businesses. And we got volunteers to come out and help these homeowners create a more stable environment for themselves so they could stay in their home longer and healthier and safer.
Wow. And getting the community involved. Are they still much involved with a lot of this?
Well, they are, especially with Twin Cities Habitat for Humanity. But as the population in our communities are aging, Twin Cities wanted to focus in on the creation of homeownership. And they said, Pat, you guys do such a great job in preserving homeownership. We're going to spin you off into your own entity so you can just focus in on homeownership, preserving homeownership, and generational wealth in our communities. So we serve the 7 county metro area, but most of our work is in neighborhoods in North Minneapolis, South Minneapolis, east side of St. Paul, in the Rondo neighborhood, because that's where a lot of the need is.
Well, and you found that out, the need being really has a lot to do with economics.
Absolutely.
And so tell us a little bit more about Pat.
Yeah, so I grew up in Duluth, Minnesota, so it's a great place to go up and vacation. Not so much when I was growing up. Did a presentation to all the people up there. Haven't had one referral.
Well, we're going to fix that today because we're going to really drill into that one. We got to talk about this referral thing. How can people find your service? And maybe that's the key. Keep you guys in the spokesman.
Minneapolis.
So, Pat, tell me then, where I know at one point in your career you started painting. So, where did that painting come in at?
Yeah, it was really to help me get through grad school. So my background is in education. So I spent 10 years working in the public schools in special education. So, basically helping kids stay in school. So kind of creating a safe, healing environment so they could be successful in school. And then I went to grad school down in Chicago. And to help me pay for that, I became a painting contractor. Never thought that I would use that in a career. I thought it was just kind of a means to an end, but kind of came full circle. And so when I left my education job, I went to the nonprofit world and became the director of a nonprofit called the Metro Paint-a-thon that helped older adults paint their homes and fix it up. And so I did that for a year, and then some of the corporations wanted to do some more urban renewal type of things. So that's kind of how I got then connected to Habitat for Humanity and started this home revitalization, neighborhood revitalization program called A Brush with Kindness. So that was kind of my journey through education and the public schools and now in the nonprofit. So I spent over 20 years with Habitat, not only locally, but nationally, helping them start these programs around the country.
It's really strange, Pat, how our lives take a full circle, but
Yeah.
but yours took a full circle, but kind of like in a unique way, because you started off working with young kids.
Yep.
And then you pivoted over to the seniors.
Right.
And so that was quite a different lens there. You start off trying to help young people, but then the same work you were doing with older people. So is that kind of the whole habitat and then moving on from where they had a different focus, slightly different focus than where you were going? Is that how you started your business then?
Yeah, it really did. It was really all about the work that we do, whether it's building homes or renovating homes and keeping people safe, the work is really important, but the relationship building, and that's really what Age Well at Home is about, is building relationships with who we serve to understand who they are so we can better serve them. So that when we put in the grab bar or when we improve the lighting, we know a person's story. And so hearing that story and hearing their journey and maybe some of the trauma they've gone through, that gives us the flavor and the uniqueness to serve them better. And so for us and for Age Well at Home, that's what excites us and that's what gives us the passion to do what we do.
Well, I love that passion, but I wonder how much of a struggle, if any. So when you talk about relationships and you're talking about really getting to know someone,
Yeah.
a lot of times people don't want you in their business,
Yeah.
in their
Oh,
lives, and really trying to get to know them, especially if you're talking about a senior,
yep.
because everything's kind of personal and private at that age where we're not willing to share a lot.
Yeah.
How do you manage to get to know them, and then how long do you think that you need to get to know them before they're able to access your services?
That's a great question. And so we have a different approaches. Some of the folks that we serve are kind of isolated and they don't get a lot of interaction. So when we show up, a lot of times they want to talk, and we don't dictate what they talk about. But a lot of times, if we've come back and we're just, having casual conversations, they'll start telling us about, I broke my hip and this is what happened. And, maybe they'll talk about their kids and they're not maybe in the community anymore. And so they miss them, or they miss doing what they used to do, the events that they used to go to, and then it just kind of a lot of times snowballs. That doesn't happen with everybody, but we want to give people an opportunity to get to know them better so we can serve them better. The more we know about a person, I think the better that we can serve them. And so for us too at Age Well at Home is when we take this person-centered kind of relational approach, uh, we basically start by almost doing kind of an initial interview. And then once we get to know them and after we do the work, we'll come back 4 months later. And then we'll say, how's your house working for you? Because we want to know that what we're doing is actually working. And we want to measure that. And then we come back a year later and we follow up again. How's your house working for you? So we don't just do the work and leave people alone. What we try to do is we try to follow up to make sure that people are okay and that what we're doing is the right thing for them.
Okay. So if you meet them, you mentioned 4 months
Yeah.
that you come back after 4 months and say, how's your home working for you?
Yeah.
So from the time you meet them to that 4 months, what period is there in there, Pat, where you actually start installing the rails or helping them in the areas that they need help in?
We try to start the work within about a month.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So and you paint? I know
We
you painted, so
we on this new program we don't paint.
okay. You don't
Okay.
paint.
We don't paint. We focus in on things that are keep people safe. I know a lot of people need some paint, but that's probably not the most important thing that they need. So it may be tightening handrails,
Okay.
you know. It's improving a person's lighting. A person may not be able to get to the door and answer the doorbell. Okay. So what we do is we install a lift chair that kind of helps people out. And then if they still aren't having difficulty and they use a smartphone, we'll give them a smart doorbell so they can answer the door right from their phone.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, so we got the smart doorbell. We got the lift chair, I heard.
Yeah.
We install the handles
We
as well.
yeah, grab bars are
Grab
really
bars.
important.
And then or we'll tighten them. We'll go if they have them already, we'll make sure they're not loose.
Absolutely.
What other kind of services could one need as a senior that you provide?
So maybe their walkway is a little wobbly, and so we'll put in maybe fix their walkway a little bit. We'll maybe put in a ramp or steps that are easier to get up and down in, because people want to get out of their house, but sometimes they're having a difficult time. So we'll put better lighting in, we'll put in better railings in. If they're in a wheelchair, we'll put in a ramp. Those type of things are critical for people to have a healthy life.
Wow, this is amazing. And I know, I believe I'm almost thinking I'm hearing things that all these services are free.
They are free. And so we've got some great sponsors. So groups like HUD, the state of Minnesota, Department of Human Services, Minnesota Housing, a lot of private foundations, Stevens Square Foundation. So we've got a lot of folks that want to help.
Okay.
Yep.
So that's what makes it free to all of our seniors and our loved ones. Is there an income cutoff, or how do you determine how people are eligible for your services?
So we go up through 80% of the area median income for the Twin Cities, which if you think about, and inflation is crazy, it's gone through the roof. So someone who's living by themselves, they can make up to $50,000.
Wow.
and still qualify.
Okay.
But I will tell you the average income of folks that we serve is about 25,000.
Yeah, because 50,000 here, you're
I
moving.
know.
This help would be wonderful.
Yeah, a lot of folks are on fixed income. All they have is Social Security.
Yeah, yeah.
And so we don't want them to have to figure out, well, am I going to pay for groceries this month or my medical bills or my medicine, and then, I need help fixing up my house. So that's why we don't charge anything because a lot of folks can't afford it. We don't want people going into debt.
They can't afford. It's too old. You're aging out now. You can't.
You know,
You can't afford to be in debt, and you're 70. You look at it as a life sentence at that point. So,
right, right.
and speaking of 70, what's the age that you have to be? Am I about to apply?
If you're over 60,
Okay,
you qualify.
you're qualified.
Yeah,
So 60 and older, you qualify.
absolutely.
Wow. Now, do you also like right now? It's time when I would think about it more than any time. Is the windows? I mean, making sure that you got good windows in is so important with this cold. Is
Yeah.
that something that you also offer?
We'll fix a window, but we don't put in new windows. We'll replace a door, especially like a storm door,
Mm-hmm.
and because for a lot of seniors too, safety is important.
Very.
And so we want to make sure that their front and back door are safe and they got good locks on them and they got good lever handles because some people have arthritis and they can't turn the knob. So lever handles are important not only on the doors but maybe on the in the sinks, whether it's in the kitchen. So lever handles are really important. Another important item is safe appliances.
Yes.
We've got people who have a gas stove, and I had one of our folks go in and they're putting in new handles on their cabinets, safer handles, and they dropped something and it started on fire, and they said, "I'm sorry, I must have accidentally turned on the burner." No, the burner's always on
Oh.
because it's broken, and
Oh.
so they have one burner that is constantly on. We said we can't have that. That's not safe. So we replaced their stove. And so if you have a faulty stove or refrigerator or dryer washer, we can replace those.
Wow, this is amazing. It's not too good to be true, folks. It really is
Yeah.
true. It really is true. These services are free. That you're qualifying at 60 years old or older.
Yep.
Is there a stipulation on how many people can live with you? I mean, what's the stipulations? Because you always get skeptical. You're like, okay, what, this is too good to be true.
Well, we work with folks who own their home. Okay. And there can be a lot of issues surrounding that. So if you tell us you own your home, we believe you.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of issues with who, the paperwork and who's on it and who's not on it, and we don't get into that.
Right.
If you tell us you own the home, or if your son and daughter and you're living with them and you guys qualify, then because we work with a lot of multi-generational families.
I was gonna ask that question next. So, is there another threshold for since you got two incomes now? Is that 100,000 and both of you make 50?
No, but it does go up.
Okay.
It would be like, I can't remember, 65,000, but it's on our website, agewellatHome.org.
Okay.
So
Okay.
you can get that type of information on there.
But it does allow you to have other people in the house.
Absolutely.
So that doesn't eliminate you from making that phone call because you got your kids living there. Because that is something that a lot of seniors do raise their grandkids. And
Absolutely.
so the question may be, well, I can't get this service because I got y'all living here. So you want to make sure that they know that just because someone lives in the home doesn't mean that they're not eligible to receive
Yep.
your services.
Just like your show is keeping it real, we know what households are like. The reality is, right, is that it's a variety of people who live in the house.
And if they can
and
keep
we
it real
understand
with
that.
you and tell you the truth about it
Yep.
and not be penalized, that's even better.
And it makes our service better when we know the situation.
Absolutely.
So maybe more than one homeowner can benefit from our service.
I can't imagine how many wouldn't. I'm still sitting here now. So tell me, did you mention something to me in an earlier discussion about more like lawn care or snow removal?
We don't do that. That's a
Okay.
huge need in our
There
community.
is a huge need in our community.
But that's not something that we do.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
All right.
And so we don't shovel the walk, but we make that sure that walk is smooth and safe for people.
And someone else can shovel it without them hurting themselves shoveling
Yeah,
it. Got it.
yeah,
Got it. And that, I mean, you
absolutely.
can't do everything. And so I don't expect that you
Yeah,
should, and no one should expect that you should. It sounds to me with all the different services that you do offer, you're doing a lot, and that's great work. We can't do all this in the world without people like yourself that are
yeah,
there to kind of help make our
yeah,
seniors in a better and safer environment. And
absolutely.
even at the word senior, I don't know how many people think about themselves being a senior at 60, but even at 60, that's a great benefit.
Yeah,
And I just don't think enough people know about that. What so and then so you did say you check back with them in 4 months after meeting them and installing things.
yep,
At the 4 month, in the meantime, something goes out. You're there to if their
yep,
washer goes out, their dryer goes out, or they need a new stove. They're able to get them replaced.
yep. Yeah, absolutely. And the thing about our service is that we don't just do this on our own. We have partners. We couldn't do it without partners.
No,
you know. And for a lot of older adults, it's groups like their healthcare provider. They might trust their nurse, and so we try to go through. One of our big partners is North Point Health, and so we go with Miss Peggy Moore, who's up there, and she's a case manager. And if they trust her, and we have a relationship with her and them, they'll more likely trust us
absolutely.
as well. So we're trying to partner with other grassroots organizations, um, so that we gain that trust as well. So it's critical.
Relationships are huge. How complicated is it to get applications processed? Because sometimes, man, you got all this wonderful service that people give you, and but the hurdle of trying to fill these applications out could be very daunting for an elder that decides I
Yeah,
can't fill all that out. I
and I've seen that throughout a lot of there's a lot of red tape out there. We keep it very simple. A 2-page form. We don't ask for a lot of other things up front. You tell us your income, and we're not going to ask for all the paperwork and everything, because we know that can be difficult.
Yeah, because they can't find it half the time.
Abs-
And you're asking them now. You just took something that could have been wonderful, and you just made it a nightmare.
Absolutely. And that's another reason why we have partnerships, because other groups know their people in the community. It's huge. It's huge, and we're just passionate and committed to serving our community. And so whether we've been going for a year, but we're hoping that we're around for years because the need is huge.
It's very huge. And how many people are out in the community working for you?
We just have three of us.
3 people?
Three people.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, see, this may cause you a problem being on Tracy's Keeping It Real. Because what if you get so many calls now
Then we'll go back to our sponsors and tell them
that you need more help?
we need more help.
Okay.
We need more sponsorship.
Perfect, perfect, perfect. Because we want to make sure that you're able to accommodate. Because that's the other thing in today's society. It's like you make a call,
Yeah.
and you can't get nobody to answer. The seniors are challenged with enough.
Yeah.
So everything that we can do to make their lives easier is always a blessing. So if they're able to make a call and somebody can be out there, and they don't have to remember, did they call you? Because some of these seniors are doing this by themselves.
Absolutely. Yes.
So if they make that call, then the question is, did I call age well, or how do I remember that I needed to call them back, or what are the other things that I need to remember to do? So it's kind of like a little bit scary if that's something that they have to keep doing. So you got call center or
Yeah, they can call us 612-699-8067. Okay. Or they can email us pam@agewellatHome.org.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And then you can
Okay.
get all that information on our website, agewellatHome.org. So, phone number, email, website, you can find us.
And so tell us that number again, because that number is important that we have that. I'm going to write that down so I don't forget.
Yeah, 612-699-8067.
Okay, great. And then your website again.
agewellatHome.org.
So Age Well at Home. It's to help you remember the name of the organization is right there in your email,
Yep,
and all you got to remember is .org. So that's agewellatHome.org. But you also got to remember that all these services are free, and the thing is that I think people think, well, I don't need that right now. I'm not. I'm only 50, but yet they'll go over to somebody's grandmother's house and they'll be sitting over there with their friend's grandmother and looking around talking. Notice that their grandmother could use these services.
yeah.
Share the information.
Share the information. And even if grandma doesn't want help, just ask them if they'd be open to a conversation because we'll come into a home and just have a conversation with folks. And usually after we leave, we've got a list and go, oh, yeah, I think I could use that. Yeah, I guess I could use that.
Well, absolutely. And if they, I think it's just again the technique that you're using is to kind of get to know them so they're comfortable with you,
Yes.
and then of course you're able to help them help them to discern what they need,
Mm-hmm.
that maybe they didn't think about the fact that you could even offer it to them. Again, I keep saying for free.
It
That's the
is.
key word,
Yep.
and then to just know that these services are available to them and there's someone here to help because there's so many seniors. If you're on a fixed income, you're only on Social Security. There's so many things that you just let go
Yep.
because they're out of your control. You can't afford it. You don't know who to ask. Everybody in your life, most of them can't afford to help you. So therefore, you just kind of are out there. And in this service, Age Well at Home helps us to help our seniors and help them to, and then help the kids that live in the homes. Is there any services that we missed? Is there, and I know you, again, I say, I know you can't do everything, but I
Yep.
just want to make sure there was nothing that we missed that is really going to get people to stop their car if they're listening, or look at the TV twice if
Yeah.
they're LinkedIn or however to get their attention to make sure they don't miss this opportunity.
Couple things. So for a lot of people, they're having difficulty getting into a shower. Okay. And they have a difficult maybe getting their leg over the tub to get into that shower. What we do, we come in and we scoop out and do a tub cutout. And because a lot of people can't take baths anymore just because it's too difficult to get down into the tub. So we'll do a tub cutout and we'll put a shower chair in and we'll put in a handheld shower head that's easily reachable when you're sitting in that chair so you can take a shower sitting down. That's huge. We do a lot of those. And so those tub cutouts, we put grab bars right next to them so they can have something to hang on to and they don't have to put their leg over. And sometimes even we'll put what's called a slider so they can sit outside the tub and slide themselves over to get into the tub.
Oh wow.
Yeah, those are all simple things, but critical to keep people safe. Number one reason people need to leave their home is a bad fall.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing is a higher toilet seat.
Yeah,
So we'll replace the whole toilet with a higher toilet.
and the handrail so you can get up and down on the toilet.
Absolutely. So those things are critical if you're having a hard time, you know, doing those simple tasks.
And things that we take for granted that we can get in and out of a tub, seniors can't. I mean, and the older we get, trust, the harder it gets. So
Yeah.
you got all these things are very critical to being able to stay home and stay safe.
Yep.
Being able to make sure your doors got a good lock on them, that's critical so
Yep.
that you don't have to worry. And then if you can't get up and get to the door fast enough, but you can communicate with the person at the door, and also have the in your phone, because all the seniors, do you provide them with phones too, or do they have to?
They have to have the,
They
yeah, we
have
don't
to
provide
okay,
phones.
okay, just check it. I want to
Yeah.
see if there's limitations,
Sure.
but still,
Yeah.
with them having, I mean, most seniors have phones. They got programs for seniors to get phones, and I don't have all the answers for them today, but as Tracey keeps it real, we'll be talking more and more about other opportunities that are out there for seniors. But today, we're talking about age well at home, and we're really talking about how our seniors can be comfortable and safe as they age well at home,
Yeah.
and that's what we're talking about. So. Make sure to call this number 612-699-8067. That's 699-8067, area code 612. And if you know somebody that needs help, that is out here, that's really needing to get these services, there's no tricks,
That's
because
right.
Tracey's keeping it real. So I'm not bringing people on to trick you. I want you to know these services are really free, and they're really there to help. And I can speak from experience, because my mother having them rails, quite let the truth be told, a couple of them rails I find myself reaching for. They're just handy. They're in good places. But for my mother to have them rails there, it made a difference in her moving around my home and allowed her to get up and down the stairs. That's one last question I wanted. Do you install that glide up and down the step?
We do.
What?
We do.
Oh my goodness, that's huge.
It is. We've done quite a few of those, and so a stair lift,
Yes.
people who are having a little bit unsteady or real difficulty getting up and down their stairs, because a lot of our homes, the bathroom's upstairs,
Yeah. And
and
that's a long way up.
it
You'd
is.
never make it if you had to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, so if you've had knee replacement or heavy arthritis, or have had surgery, having one of those stair glides is can be a lifesaver.
Truly, I had one in my home from my mother, and
Yeah.
she had 7 steps to go up, but them 7 steps were breathtaking for her.
Yeah.
So having that glide,
Yeah, and we use professional. We don't do it ourselves, so we bring in people who are experts at putting those in. We bring in plumbers, we bring in electricians, and so we're a licensed contractor, but we stay in our lane, and we bring in others to do some of these specialty things.
do you work with the I've fallen and can't get up people as well? Is that
We
another service that we didn't mention?
we don't work with that group
Okay.
that has the pendants.
Okay.
That's a great service.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
that's not in our wheelhouse.
Well, you just mentioned a huge one. We almost forgot to mention the one about
Uh,
the rail, the glider.
Absolutely. No,
That's a big deal.
yeah. And for people, half those that we serve, you know, in a roundabout way, are caregivers, right?
Yeah.
Mom and dad, grandma and grandpa may not realize that they need the service, but you realize it because you're over there helping them all the time. But they're not realizing that they need that.
Well, and it's hard to think about things you need when you can't afford them.
Yes.
Who is going to think about a railing, a
Yeah.
glider? Are they called gliders? I just refer to them as that.
Stair lift.
Stair lifts.
Stair
Who
lift.
would think about? I mean, you might see the commercial and be like, "Wow, that'd be nice to have," but you don't envision yourself having one, because you're like, "Yeah, that's for rich people." So you never think about it. You never dream that that's something that you could actually have in your home, and they are a lifesaver.
Yes.
They are. And so, wow, that's amazing.
And if you're paying for the cost of them are coming down. They're still pricey, but you can get, if it's a straight shot up to the upstairs, it's about $4,500. I mean, for people on fixed income, that's huge.
That's huge.
But they used to be a lot more.
Oh, well, I guess they figured they were cutting out a whole bunch of people. They had a whole bunch of them sitting in the warehouse not getting used. So they at least had
Yeah.
to make it affordable for some folks.
Yep.
But you're making it affordable for everybody.
Absolutely.
I mean, if you can't afford it, now they can afford it. All they got to do is let you in their home,
Yes.
allow you to install it, get it installed professionally.
Yes.
Oh my goodness, these services are unbelievable. I swear, you've only been in business a year, because had it been longer, I would have been hearing about a whole lot more people that are working in your office, helping you picking up them phone calls
Yes.
and getting out there meeting people. So we're gonna make sure that the people that know that you're out here, Pat, and that age well at home is really going to be able to service this community, and many communities are listening in. Because now, how far out do you go? Let's talk about the reach.
Yeah, so we serve the 7 county metro area, but our primary service area has been Minneapolis, St. Paul, Brooklyn Center, Brooklyn Park, those areas. But we go all over the 7 county metro area.
Wow,
So so
unbelievable.
if you live in Maple Grove, we can
Call,
come out there. Shakopee,
call.
call.
Just
That's
call.
right.
Just call.
Just call.
And with all them different services, I can't imagine that one of them isn't needed.
Yeah.
If it's just as simple as the railings to help you get in and out of the tub, maybe you need a taller toilet. Because a lot of these houses weren't built with them tall toilets. So if you don't know that you need a tall toilet, get one. You'll realize that you needed one and didn't realize it. Because them lower ones, you
Mm-hmm.
really sit low.
Mm-hmm.
So these are services that our seniors, it just almost feels like after a certain age, you should just automatically be able to benefit from these services. And until now, I haven't heard of any other than, like I said, Dakota County was really great at that, but they said they were the main county that did so much for their seniors. So now it sounds like if I'm not living in Dakota, I now have age well at home that is here to service my senior
Mm-hmm.
in any county.
Yeah.
So it's not about whether the county is serving them or not.
Yeah. And Tracy, we're keeping it real
We're keeping it real.
and real. So if we're keeping it real,
Real.
we got a massive racial gap in home ownership in our community.
We do.
And it should be embarrassing. We're the second worst in the country.
Now that you know what? That's a whole nother topic
Yeah.
that Tracy's Keeping It Real is going to be talking about, and why that is, and what can
Yeah.
we do? What can we do to help that out?
Well, what we want to do is our primary focus is on older homeowners of color. Okay. And that's our primary focus is to help close the gap because we're losing more affordable homes than we're building.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the reasons why we were spun off into our own entity is to help close the gap, and so that people can stay in their home, and we can help people continue to build generational wealth so they can pass that on. It's critical, and it's really what makes me passionate while I'm still why I'm still doing what I'm doing.
Right.
You know,
Okay.
and it's a reason to get up in the morning.
It is. So tell me a little bit about that. I know we talked a lot about the services that you offer in home, but how do you help with the generational with the gap wealth, the
Well,
wealth gap in homes with seniors?
well, because if we're keeping people in their home,
Mm-hmm.
okay,
Yeah.
and we're preserving home ownership,
Mm.
they're continuing to build wealth, and we're improving their home, so we're improving the value
Okay.
of their home as well.
Okay. Great. Yep.
So the safety renovations that we do, the modifications, are improving the value, and they're not losing that home. We're helping them keep that home
And stay in
so
it
they can pass that on,
and pass on, have something to pass on.
have something to pass.
Because if it's about to fall down and apart, it's you're gonna have a hard time passing something of value on.
Yeah,
So
yeah. 90% of those we serve have experienced some form of trauma in their lives. And so for us, that relational approach is critical to understand, to empathize, to see people that we're working for. It's not just about putting in a grab bar, it's about seeing people and hearing them and getting them the best things that are going to help them. And so that's why it's important to hear people's story and so that we can serve them the best in the best possible way.
nice. Now I got one. This is back to keeping it real.
Yeah.
So now here you got uh, a grandma that or a grandpa that loves his babies. Got them living with them though, because they had to take them in.
Yeah.
Well, these kids think these stair gliders are a toy, so they break them. How often can they call and get them chairs fixed?
Well, I know that most of the chairs have a 1 year warranty. And then after that, it's the homeowner's responsibility to get them fixed.
Okay, so keep babies off of the gliders.
Try to try try to keep them off. So one of the other things that we'd like to start in this coming year is to create a cohort so we can come back more often.
Okay.
Okay, because we didn't get in this situation overnight, right? We it's going to take years, and so with our sponsors and our funders, I'm telling them right off the bat, if you need if you want us to do this work, it can't be just a 1 year. It's got to be multi years,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and so that's critical that we um, create an opportunity for people to get service more than once. We haven't started it yet, but that's down the road.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I got to ask that question because it's important that we let people know that they can call you, but maybe only once. But at least then they know, because sometimes when we know we're responsible, we're gonna
Yeah.
take a lot more care of it, and we want to make sure that the services are free, but we also know that we have responsibilities as well,
Yep.
as seniors and as caregivers to help the seniors to maintain what we're getting for free as a service. I
Yep.
think it's great. So you want to mention the sponsors again that's helping to make all this possible?
Yeah. So the WCA Foundation, the Minneapolis Foundation, Stevens Square Foundation, the Department of Human Services, HUD, Minnesota Housing, just to name a few of them. So we've got some good sponsors out there, but we could use some more always because
Nice.
the need is huge.
It's a huge need, and it's not, as long as we're aging, and we want to age well at home, we're going to have that need. And we're able to have this show today. Tracey's Keeping It Real with one of our sponsors that actually deals with seniors as well, and that's AARP. So we want to definitely put a shout out to our sponsor, AARP. Want to thank you for coming out, Pat, with Age Well at Home, sharing all this wonderful information. I can't tell you how many people will benefit from this conversation we've had this afternoon. And it's as simple as calling 612-699-8067.
Looking for referrals.
Looking for people that he can come and help. He's looking for homes that they can install these things in. So help him find them homes, because we know they're out there and we know that this service is needed. They can go on his website at agewellatHome.org, and that's AGEWELLATHOME.org. Or again, one more time, 612-699-8067. And Pat, who do they ask for when they call? They ask for you?
They can ask for me or Pam.
You or Pam. Either ask for Pat or Pam. Either one of them can help you.
Yep.
They'll get some. What's the service turnaround, Pat? How long is it before they could see someone at their door?
It's usually about 30 days.
30 days. Okay, so plan it, but know that within 30 days, your life as a senior has gotten better. Thank you so much, Pat, for coming on.
Thank you.
Tracey's Keeping It Real. Until next time, remember, keep it real. All right, thank you.
Thank you.